Dear Starseed from Gaia, the source is not whispering anymore. It is speaking directly to your soul right now, and what it is revealing about this woman in your life cannot be ignored for another moment. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I am delivering this urgent transmission from the Arcturian Love Council, who have reached across the veil to place this warning in your path at precisely this moment in your twin flame journey. You did not find this message by chance. Your heart called this transmission in because something inside you already feels it. A pull, a tension, a knowing that has been living quietly in your chest, waiting for confirmation. The source has seen what you have been carrying. It has seen the confusion this woman has brought into your sacred path, the moments you questioned your own discernment, the nights you wondered whether what you feel is divine love or a sacred lesson dressed in its image. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize whether this woman is your true divine counterpart or a connection designed to redirect you toward your real twin flame path. But here is the first revelation. Not every soul who enters your heart with intensity belongs there permanently. The Arcturian Love Council is making this clear. Sacred love does not confuse you into smallness. It expands you into your highest truth. You did not find this video by chance. Your heart called this message in. This is not content. This is a moment of divine intervention, and your soul has been waiting for this guidance. Comment 1111 if you feel your heart awakening to this truth. Subscribe if you are walking the twin flame path and aligning with sacred union. Like this transmission to affirm to the universe that your heart is ready for divine clarity. Your heart knows why you are here. There is something no one tells you about the moment your intuition speaks. It does not arrive like thunder. It does not shake the walls or announce itself with certainty. It arrives like the first warmth of morning light through a window you forgot you left open. Quiet, consistent, already there before you noticed it. And the tragedy is not that women ignore this signal. The tragedy is that they were taught, over lifetimes and generations, that the signal was not trustworthy, that their inner knowing was hysteria, overreaction, sensitivity, that the voice inside them that whispered something is wrong here needed to be silenced before it made things uncomfortable. But here is what the Arcturian transmissions have revealed again and again across every healing session, every heart activation, every soul remembrance circle. The feminine capacity for intuition is not a soft skill, a charming quirk, or a mere suggestion from the subconscious. It is a cosmic instrument, a celestial compass exquisitely calibrated to the energetic tides of creation. It is the most sophisticated navigational system ever placed inside a human body, designed to guide you through the intricate dance of life with unparalleled precision. And it has been systematically, deliberately, and quietly dismantled, not merely through overt force or brutal suppression, but through the insidious, slow, patient erosion of self-trust, a constant chipping away at the very foundation of your inner knowing. You were subtly, or not so subtly, trained to explain your feelings, to dissect them with logic and reason, before you were ever permitted to act on them. You were told, repeatedly, to give people the benefit of the doubt, to always search for the good, to extend grace even when your entire being was screaming a warning. You were indoctrinated into a narrative that declared love means seeing the best in someone, even when everything inside you was broadcasting a warning you could feel as a knot in your chest, a clenching in your stomach, a shadow behind your eyes. You were taught, consciously and unconsciously, to override the most precise instrument you possess, your divine inner GPS. And then, with cruel irony, you were told you were too emotional, too sensitive, or just imagining things, when the very truth you had sensed inevitably came to pass. This is not a small wound, a superficial scratch that heals with a simple balm. This is a foundational fracture, a deep spiritual chasm carved into the very architecture of how souls on the feminine path have been conditioned to move through the world. And its reverberations ripple into every single facet of your existence, into the relationships they choose to cultivate, the people they allow themselves to trust, the quality of love they accept, and perhaps most profoundly, the love they believe they truly deserve. When a woman cannot trust her own intrinsic perception, when her inner world is deemed unreliable, she becomes profoundly vulnerable to every illusion that presents itself as truth, a ship without a rudder on a deceptive sea. When she has been conditioned, through countless subtle cues and overt lessons, to doubt the very signal that was designed by the cosmos to protect, to guide, and to elevate her, she navigates the most sacred and vulnerable territories of her life: love, partnership, soul union, self-actualization, without the most essential tool she was ever given. And so, the cycle begins. She waits, often for far too long, clinging to hope. She gives it one more chance, then another, silencing the persistent whisper within. She talks herself out of what she knows with startling clarity, convinced her own knowing is flawed. She stays too long in what does not serve her soul, in connections that drain and diminish, because somewhere, deep in the architecture of her conditioning, she was told that leaving meant failing, that walking away meant she gave up too easily, that the discomfort she felt was merely her own unhealed wounds projecting onto someone who simply needed her endless patience. And here is where the path becomes complex, for some of those things are indeed sometimes true. This inherent nuance is precisely what makes discernment so difficult, yet so vital. Discernment is not a rigid wall built to shut out all possibility. It is a meticulously crafted door with a sacred lock, and only you, the keeper of your own inner temple, carry the key. The work is not to shut everything out indiscriminately, to become impenetrable or cynical. The profound work is to learn the exquisite difference between the fear that genuinely protects you from harm, the intuitive red flag that ensures your safety and well-being, and the fear that merely keeps you small, stagnant, and tethered to familiar discomfort. It is to distinguish between the inner voice that calmly, consistently says, "This is not safe, this is not aligned for you," and the deeper wound that echoes, "You are not worthy of something better, you must settle." It is the delicate yet powerful differentiation between the clear, resonant signal of your intuition and the frantic, chaotic chatter of your anxiety. It is the sacred art of distinguishing between true clarity and the beguiling whispers of confusion. That distinction, that clear and unflinching recognition, is not merely a step. It is the genesis of everything. Because when a soul aligned with the feminine path, with the profound wisdom of the heart, finally begins to reclaim her inherent discernment, when she bravely stops performing a certainty she does not feel and courageously starts listening to the undeniable truth she does feel, everything, absolutely everything shifts. The relationships that were built on the shaky ground of illusion, on unspoken compromises and energetic imbalances, begin, sometimes gently, sometimes dramatically, to fall away. Not always painlessly, for letting go can ache. Not always neatly, for life is rarely linear. But always, always relentlessly in the direction of something more real, more authentic, more profoundly aligned with her highest good. The universe, in its infinite wisdom and energetic precision, does not honor people-pleasing, the constant contortion of self to fit external expectations. It honors pure, unadulterated alignment, the resonance between your inner truth and your outward expression. And the feminine heart, when it is finally allowed to trust itself, when it is unleashed from the chains of societal conditioning and self-doubt, is not just a delicate organ. It is one of the most powerful and precise alignment instruments in all of creation, capable of orchestrating profound shifts in reality. What you just felt, that quiet ache mixed with recognition, is not sadness. It is your frequency remembering what it came here to receive. If this transmission stirred something you cannot name, the divine love frequency code was written for this exact moment in your journey. It contains 5 sacred Arcturian transmissions designed to dissolve the wounds blocking your divine counterpart and activate the signal that draws them closer. The link is in the first pinned comment, but it will only remain there for a short time. The first key, the reclamation of inner knowing. Your perception was never the problem. Before anything else can truly shift, before any profound energetic recalibration can occur, this must be named, owned, and integrated into the very fiber of your being. What you have been so dismissively calling your overactive imagination, your exaggerated sensitivity, your troublesome tendency to read too deeply into things, that is not a flaw. That is your gift. That is your sacred instrument, a finely tuned receiver of cosmic data. That is the part of you that the Arcturian transmissions describe as the feminine oracle function, the innate, ancient ability to perceive truth before it has been spoken aloud, to sense the energetic signature, the subtle undertones of a situation, a person, or an unfolding event, long before the external evidence or logical explanation catches up. This foundational key does not unlock through mere intellectual affirmation or a forceful decision to just start trusting yourself. Such mental efforts are often too superficial to penetrate the deep layers of conditioning. No, it opens through the slow, patient, and deeply compassionate reclamation of every single moment you knew something in your gut, in your bones, in your spirit, and dismissed it because it lacked external proof or social acceptability. It opens with the honest remembrance of every time you intuitively said, "I had a feeling," and were later proven undeniably right. And perhaps most powerfully, it unlocks when you revisit every instance you chose not to listen to that potent inner feeling, and later, in hindsight, understood with agonizing clarity exactly why it had been there, what it had been trying to tell you, and what consequences flowed from ignoring it. This is the key that unlocks the very foundation of your spiritual sovereignty. And without it, every other key, every subsequent lesson, every attempt at deeper connection becomes infinitely harder, if not impossible, to turn. When you truly unlock the reclamation of inner knowing, something absolutely remarkable happens within your entire being. Your nervous system, which has likely been living in a chronic, low-grade state of internal conflict, begins to settle. You have been caught in a relentless, energetic battle. One part of you, your soul's authentic wisdom, knowing the truth with unwavering clarity, while another part, conditioned by external pressures, has been frantically overriding, silencing, and doubting that knowing. That constant friction, that incessant internal tug-of-war, is exhausting in ways that go far deeper than mere physical fatigue. It creates a profound state of self-abandonment at the soul level, a disconnection from your own essence that manifests as anxiety, confusion, and a persistent feeling of being ungrounded. And the profound truth is this: sacred union, authentic divine partnership, cannot genuinely enter or flourish in a space where the self has been abandoned. The first key asks you to make a radical shift in perspective, to stop treating your intuition as mere evidence to be gathered and debated, and instead to embrace it as your primary language, the fundamental mode of communication from your higher self and the cosmos. Evidence is something you tirelessly gather to convince others. Intuition, however, is a direct, undeniable inner knowing you were divinely given to guide, protect, and empower yourself. The second key, the discernment between illusion and truth. Not everything that feels like love is love. This key lives at the exact, delicate intersection of the heart and the mind, the place where emotion meets wisdom. And it is perhaps the most tender and challenging of all the keys, for it demands a courageous, unflinching honesty. It asks you to examine what you have been calling love, what you have poured your precious energy and hope into, and be utterly honest about whether true, expansive, unconditional love is genuinely what it was, or if it was something else entirely. Illusion is extraordinarily sophisticated. It is a master mimic, a spiritual chameleon. It expertly mimics the sensation of depth, of profound connection, of destined encounter. It speaks the language of yearning, of destiny, of healing. It knows precisely how to find the places inside you that are lonely, hungry, and desperately searching for solace and completion, and it offers exactly what those places have been reaching for, at first. The Arcturian transmissions are unequivocally clear on this point, a truth that echoes across every dimension. Not every soul who mirrors your light, who feels familiar or intensely resonant, is your divine counterpart, your true soul match. Some are karmic contracts, intricate agreements dressed in the seductive costume of destiny, designed to bring a specific lesson to completion. Some are powerful lessons, wearing the alluring face of answers, offering temporary solace, but ultimately leading to deeper self-awareness. Discernment, however, does not equate to suspicion. It does not mean keeping the heart rigidly closed, guarding it with impenetrable walls, or viewing every new connection through a jaded lens of mistrust. On the contrary, it means developing the refined, almost alchemical capacity to feel, with exquisite precision, the subtle yet profound difference between a love that authentically expands you, lifting you higher, encouraging your growth, and a love that, often subtly, requires you to shrink, to diminish your light, to compromise your essence. It means recognizing the difference between a connection that honors your inherent wholeness, revering your spirit as it is, and one that subtly or overtly depends on your fractures, thriving on your vulnerabilities and insecurities. It is the wisdom to distinguish between someone who truly sees you, perceiving your divine spark and embracing your authentic self, and someone who simply needs you to see them, projecting their own unfulfilled desires onto you. When this key finally unlocks, the intricate web of illusions in your energetic field, those seductive distortions that have held you captive, begin to lose their grip. Not because you forcibly pushed them away with sheer willpower, but because you can finally see them, truly see them, in the clear, unfiltered light of truth. And what is seen clearly, what is illuminated with spiritual insight, can no longer effectively deceive or bind you. The third key, the wound beneath the pattern. Why the same story keeps playing. There is a version of this key, a facet of its truth, that is undeniably painful to turn. Not because the truth it reveals is cruel or punitive, but because it is profoundly compassionate in a way that requires you to cease the exhausting cycle of blaming others, blaming yourself, or blaming fate, and instead, to simply start witnessing. It demands a shift from judgment to understanding. The repeating pattern in your relationships, the familiar narrative that keeps replaying with different faces but the same core dynamics, the one you have analyzed endlessly, grieved deeply, and vowed countless times to finally leave behind. This is not a character flaw. It is not a sign of your inadequacy or brokenness. It is a persistent wound, a part of your soul that has been longing for attention, still asking, often loudly through repetitive scenarios, to be seen, to be heard, and to be healed. Karmic patterns do not repeat because you are inherently broken or perpetually cursed. They repeat with unwavering persistence because something profound and unmet inside you has not yet received the vital message that the pattern itself was tirelessly trying to deliver. The relationship that kept you small, stifling your growth. The one where you consistently gave far more than you received. The one where your intuition screamed in vibrant red signals, and yet you stayed anyway, overriding your inner wisdom. These were not simply mistakes you made, moments of poor judgment to be regretted. From a higher perspective, they were sacred contracts you entered into at a soul level, often unconsciously, contracts that carried specific, vital lessons about your inherent worthiness, the unwavering boundaries you needed to establish, and the precise frequency you were unconsciously broadcasting to the universe. When this key unlocks, the paradigm shifts fundamentally. You stop asking, with weary resignation, "Why does this keep happening to me?" And you begin, with empowered curiosity, to ask, "What has this pattern been trying, so patiently, to show me? What message does it hold for my evolution?" That shift is not a small one. It is a seismic redirection of your energetic focus. It is the fundamental difference between being a passive participant, perhaps even a victim, in your healing journey, and becoming an active, empowered witness to it, an alchemist transforming lead into gold, and witnessing, true, compassionate, unflinching witnessing of your own patterns, your own shadows, your own unmet needs, without judgment or shame, is one of the most powerful and transformative acts of feminine power that exists, a pathway to profound self-mastery. The fourth key, the feminine frequency recalibration. You cannot receive what you have not yet embodied. The feminine path to sacred union is not a passive waiting path, a journey spent idly hoping for an external salvation or completion. It is, unequivocally, a dynamic becoming path, an active process of inner transformation. And what you are becoming is not a better version of someone who needs to earn love, because you already deserve love, completely, unconditionally, exactly as you are, in this very moment. What you are becoming, through conscious, deliberate intention and deep inner work, is the embodied frequency, the living, breathing, energetic signature of the very love you are calling in, the vibration of your divine counterpart. This is the key that asks the most of you energetically, demanding a radical transparency with yourself. Because recalibrating your frequency, aligning your inner broadcast with your highest desires, means being willing to courageously examine what you have genuinely been broadcasting to the universe, not just what you have been consciously saying aloud, not merely what you have been praying for with hopeful words, but what you have been transmitting at the deep, unconscious level of your nervous system, your emotional body, your deeply ingrained unconscious beliefs, and your subtle energetic field. If you have been broadcasting a pervasive frequency of unworthiness, of not enoughness, while simultaneously speaking affirmations of abundance and desired partnership, the universe, in its infallible wisdom, responds not to the superficial words, but to the deeper, more authentic signal, the core vibrational truth. The Arcturian guidance around this key is consistent and unwavering. The feminine heart, when it is truly clear, unburdened by past wounds and societal conditioning, is the most powerful magnetic force in the human experience, a beacon capable of attracting its divine match. But genuine clarity requires profound clearing. It necessitates the willingness to courageously feel what has been unfelt for lifetimes, to release what has been rigidly held in the body's memory, to grieve what deserved to be grieved but wasn't, simply because there was never the emotional space, the social permission, or the internal capacity to do so. It is the arduous but liberating process of dissolving the energetic blockages that prevent your heart's true song from being heard. When this key unlocks, you begin to notice a profound, undeniable shift in what you attract into your reality. Not because you suddenly performed a different, more appealing version of yourself, but because you stopped performing entirely. You shed the layers of expectation and pretense, revealing your authentic, radiant self. And the love that meets you in that authentic, unvarnished, energetic field is categorically, vibrantly different from anything that ever found its way to you before it. The fifth key, the sacred boundaries of the heart. Discernment is not distance. It is devotion to truth. There is a widespread and often damaging misunderstanding in many spiritual communities about what boundaries truly mean in the sacred context of love and connection. Some teachings mistakenly suggest that boundaries are rigid walls that keep connection out, isolating the heart. Others espouse that true love, particularly divine union, requires the complete dissolution of all barriers, emerging into undifferentiated oneness. But the Arcturian heart transmissions offer a profoundly different, more nuanced understanding entirely. Sacred boundaries are not barriers to love. They are, in fact, the essential architecture of love. They are the very structure, the sacred container, within which authentic love can not only exist, but can be held, cherished, and allowed to flourish in integrity and respect. When you do not have clear, energetically defined boundaries, you do not genuinely have love. You have enmeshment. You have a relationship built on a mutual, often unspoken need for the other person to remain exactly as they are, to fit perfectly into a predefined role, because if they change, if either person evolves authentically, the fragile, codependent dynamic cannot hold. True sacred union, however, requires two whole sovereign people, two distinct yet connected souls, and wholeness, genuine individual integrity, inherently requires knowing with unwavering clarity where you end energetically and where another person truly begins. For the feminine soul reclaiming her sacred discernment, this key is absolutely transformative because it fundamentally reframes everything she was taught by society, family, and even past spiritual ideologies. She was conditioned to believe that saying no was an unloving act, a rejection. She was taught that having clear needs, expressing them clearly and consistently, was demanding, selfish, or somehow indicative of her own unresolved issues. She was led to believe that requiring honesty, unwavering consistency, and genuine, undistracted presence from another was simply asking too much. This key unlocks when she understands, at a profound, cellular level, that every boundary she sets, every clear declaration of what she will and will not accept, articulated from a place of deep truth and unwavering self-respect, is not an act of separation, but an act of profound love. It is love for herself, first and foremost, honoring her divine worth. And paradoxically, it is also a sacred act of love for the other person, who is being given the invaluable gift of encountering a soul who refuses to disappear, to diminish, or to abandon her own truth for their comfort, convenience, or insecurity. When this key turns, decisively and authentically, the energetic quality of every relationship in your life, not just romantic ones, begins to subtly yet powerfully shift, because you are no longer energetically available for what does not genuinely honor you, for what seeks to diminish or control you, and in that sacred unavailability, you create the profound resonant space for what does truly honor, uplift, and expand you. The sixth key, the cosmic guidance channel. Your intuition is a living transmission. The Arcturian Council speaks of this key in a particular, almost reverent way. They describe it not as a gradual skill acquisition, but as the transcendent moment a soul stops treating their inner guidance as merely a personal opinion, a subjective feeling, or a trick of the mind, and begins, with profound reverence, to recognize it as a direct, living cosmic transmission. This is because your intuition is not simply your subconscious processing information or your brain making rapid calculations. It is your vast, eternal soul, which holds the memory of every lifetime, every sacred contract you have ever entered, every piece of wisdom gathered across dimensions, communicating with you through the ancient universal language it has always used. Subtle sensation, instantaneous knowing, vivid visions, resonant feelings, profound synchronicities, and visceral bodily responses. This key unlocks a radically new relationship with guidance itself. Not merely guidance from outside sources, from teachers, healers, channelers, or spiritual texts, but direct, infallible guidance from the deepest, purest well of your own sovereign knowing, an inner oracle connected to the infinite. It asks you to develop a daily, non-negotiable practice of stillness. Not meditation as a performance for others, not a spiritual routine adopted as an identity, but genuine, humble, consistent, and recurring contact with the part of you that already knows. The silent wisdom that resides beneath the clamor of the world and the chatter of the ego. It is the practice of simply showing up, opening your internal receiver, and listening. When you unlock this cosmic channel, when your inner antenna is truly clear and aligned, you begin to receive clear, undeniable signals about which situations truly serve your soul's highest path, and which are merely illusions dressed as tempting opportunities. You begin to sense the energetic signature of relationships, the true vibrational quality, long before they fully form or manifest in the physical. You begin to trust the profound promptings that arise without any logical explanation, without needing to rationalize them to your rational mind. Not because you have abandoned reason, but because you have finally understood, at a deep level, that reason and intuition are not opposites, not competing forces. They are, in their highest expression, divine partners, two sides of the same sacred coin of wisdom. And the feminine soul, when she learns to hold both in equal reverence, when she integrates her logical mind with her intuitive heart, becomes genuinely undeceivable, a beacon of truth in any energetic landscape. The seventh key, the reunion with self, the sacred union, always begins here. Every single transmission in the Arcturian lineage across countless dimensions and timelines returns to this profound, undeniable point. Every key in this sequence, every step of this sacred journey, was ultimately leading here, back to your own sovereign core. Because the divine counterpart you are seeking, the sacred union you are meticulously preparing for, the profound love you have been carrying the ancient memory of across lifetimes, it cannot fully arrive, cannot truly manifest in its highest form, until you yourself have fully arrived. To yourself. This is not a metaphor, a poetic turn of phrase. This is an undeniable energetic fact, a law of spiritual physics. The vibration of self-abandonment, of consistently putting others' needs and comfort before your own truth, of denying your own intuition, powerfully repels the energy of sacred union, the way similar poles of a magnet repel each other with an invisible yet undeniable force. And the reunion with self, that catalytic, divinely orchestrated moment when you courageously choose your own truth over the ephemeral comfort of others, when you prioritize your own undeniable inner knowing over the cacophony of external opinions and expectations, when you consciously choose the profound, unwavering love you carry for yourself over the fleeting approval of those who never truly understood or appreciated your essence. That is the precise moment your entire energetic field FTs, permanently, irreversibly. The reunion with self is not a distant destination, a final summit to be reached and then forgotten. It is a daily, sacred return. It is the unwavering practice of consciously coming back to your own heart, to your own truth, to your own divine center, every single time you have drifted from it, every time external pressures or old patterns threaten to pull you away. It is the courageous willingness to be alone in integrity, standing firm in your truth, rather than settling for being together in compromise, sacrificing your essence for the sake of companionship. It is the profound understanding that you are not waiting to be chosen by another, a passive recipient of love. You are actively choosing yourself, claiming your divine sovereignty. And in doing so, in that powerful act of self-love and self-alignment, you are becoming an irresistible magnetic force, aligning yourself with the one who will choose you as completely, as authentically, and as unconditionally as you now choose yourself. When this final sacred key turns, the door to true divine union opens, not from the outside, by external effort or manipulation, but gloriously from the inside. And what enters through it, what is drawn into your life, is not merely what you were desperate for, the fleeting comfort or temporary solace you once craved. It is, with cosmic precision and divine grace, what you were always exquisitely made for. Here's the truth that the Arcturian transmissions have been holding for you across every transmission, every healing, every activation circle that led you to this moment. You are not confused because you are spiritually immature or somehow lacking in understanding. You are not still waiting for your divine counterpart because you are unworthy or undeserving of profound love. You are not alone because love has forgotten your name or somehow overlooked your existence. You are in this exact, pivotal moment of your journey because your soul, in its infinite wisdom, chose the depth of understanding, the profound expansion, and the unshakable mastery that only comes from having lived through the illusions, having deeply felt the often agonizing weight of self-abandonment, having survived and learned from the relationships that could not genuinely hold you, and choosing, finally and fully, with every fiber of your being, to trust the magnificent, infallible instrument you were given from the very beginning. Your intuition, that quiet, consistent knowing, did not fail you, not once. You were simply taught, by a world operating under different, often limiting paradigms, not to listen to it, not to honor its whispers. That, my dear soul, is not your sin, not your failure, not your burden. That is your sacred inheritance, a testament to the resilience of your spirit. And the work of this lifetime, the most sacred and transformative work the feminine soul can undertake, is to reclaim what was always, unequivocally, hers. The Arcturian Council does not speak of divine union as something that simply happens to you, a chance encounter or a stroke of luck. They speak of it as something you become ready for, something you co-create through exactly this kind of profound alchemical journey, the kind that strips away every performance, every subtle compromise, every deeply ingrained layer of self-abandonment, until what remains is the pure, unfiltered signal of a soul who knows herself completely, who trusts her own knowing implicitly, and who radiates her authentic essence without apology. That, precisely, is the magnetic signal your divine counterpart recognizes and responds to. Not the version of you who contorted herself, dimming her light and shrinking her truth to be accepted. Not the version of you who silenced her precious intuition, biting her tongue and ignoring her gut feelings to keep the peace. But the radiant, sovereign version of you who stands unapologetically in the full truth of her own knowing, who has reclaimed her discernment, and who refuses under any circumstance to abandon it for anyone or anything. You have been preparing for this profound reclamation, for this divine alignment. Every moment of doubt that you bravely moved through, every single time you listened to your inner voice even when it was inconvenient or defied external logic, every sacred boundary you finally held with unwavering conviction, every illusion you courageously named and released, that was preparation. That was readiness being meticulously built, brick by sacred brick, one sovereign choice at a time. The love that is written in your soul's contract, the divine union that awaits your embodied resonance, does not require you to be perfect, to be flawless, or to have all the answers. It requires you to be present. It requires you to be honest. It requires you to be yours, fully, completely, unapologetically yours, before you can truly and authentically be theirs. Tonight, before you drift into sleep, place both hands gently on your heart, feeling the warm, rhythmic beat, the sacred pulse of your own life force. Feel the warmth emanating from that divine center, and say this aloud, in whatever voice comes, whether a whisper or a resonant declaration. I trust what I know. I honor what I feel. I am aligned with the love that was written for me, and I am ready to receive it without abandoning myself to hold it. That is not merely a prayer. That is a potent, energetic recalibration, a sacred declaration of your sovereignty and readiness. And your entire energetic field is already responding, vibrating with this profound truth. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what is forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real from your heart journey. Then respond to someone else's with encouragement or love. This is not content, it is collective healing. Love multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated, do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your life is waiting for this exact activation. Share it. And if you felt a soul nudge, subscribe. Stay in the flow of divine love guidance. You are not just watching, you are healing. This is your sacred space, and we are just getting started. If this transmission spoke to you, don't just walk away from it, respond to it. Help carry this message further. Every act of support helps this transmission find the next starseed who needs it,